Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 403. It is the fourth day of the week, aka the Buster Cannon workout. I'm feeling very good right now. As you may notice, I'm not in my car. I'm actually at home because the gym is closed. It is currently noon. It is a special holiday. I'm not going to say which one, but you can guess which one that takes place on a Thursday every year. But basically, because of that, I have to do a workout at home. I didn't want to skip it because today is a day where I eat a lot. So I ended up, a couple weeks back, I ended up buying something for my home gym. And now this day is a little bit of an experiment. So that is why we're going to talk. This one's going to be titled Something New. So today we're going to be looking at what I'm going to be doing that's a little different. Obviously, it's something new. But I also wanted to look at the idea of something new, because sometimes you do a bunch of stuff or just some things just kind of happen in the world where things kind of change and you have to do something new. And I think that that was just an interesting idea. No, it is not just another Dance Gavin Dance song title that just gave me an idea for a video, of course, but see this one for about happiness. But the entire idea of something new was just popped in my brain because I thought about it because I was like, this is something different. And then I was like, oh yeah, there are also other experiences where your life kind of completely changes because of something new that happens in your life. And of course, this doesn't mean much in the long grand scheme of things in theory, but eventually I do plan on transitioning from going to the gym to just working out all the time at home, which it will be something new as my third place gets eliminated in theory. So that is also another video I've made about right here. So that is something that I've started, and now I have to kind of get myself into that motion, the new motion of what this could be. So with that being said, I will see you at Mother Base.
All right, so started this day off with leg extensions, which were pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. Something new. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because, well, technically everything on this day is something new. It is a thing that happens quite a bit. Well, I'll first go in here and talk about this workout. This is a lower body day. I got this contraption that lets me do leg extensions, which was the main reason why I still went to the gym. Still kind of do. You'll see it eventually when I stop going. But this was a one time where I was like, oh shit, this is a perfect time, because there was a holiday happening where the gyms closed at noon. So thus, I was not going to wake my ass up early just to go to the gym that was going to be ultra fucking packed just to try to do a leg workout. So I was able to manage to do it at home. So it was very interesting to see it all pan out personally. I was a big fan of this thing that I bought, which had to drive an hour to get, which Facebook Marketplace deal. Would highly recommend it. It saved me over $200 on this piece of equipment. Honest to God, very much worth it. Would recommend Facebook Marketplace to anybody. But still, regardless, it was a interesting experience to not only hold, but a new piece of equipment. It was something new, even though it was technically used. It's something that, where even in the grand scheme of this was kind of like a meandering, just trying to figure out my way around what to do for a second lower body day in my home gym, because it's kind of weird, right? It's something that's brand new. You kind of have to maneuver your way around, kind of feel it out. This workout took longer than I normally do, but that's just because I had a little bit of a learning curve, because there was no curve to learn, really. So it's an interesting thing to occur, really, when something new comes up, because this isn't just in the gym world, because a lot of the gym world, once you get into certain lifts, it's very 50-50 on whether or not you're going to change them up, unless you get like aches and pains and things like that, or nagging injuries. You do have to change it up every once in a while. A lot of these exercises are done relatively terribly, I'll be honest, because of the fact that they're brand new to me. Something like these good mornings are not good at all. I would say that I could do much better, but that's just because I haven't really done them before. So that's why the absolutely zero weight on the bar. And I think that that's the big thing about something new, is that the weird learning curve, or just figuring out shit to make sure that it's all good, is a little rough on certain people. I think that a lot of people end up getting too lost, or they are too neurotic in order to allow something new to go into their life, because I think that then they have to start thinking about the things that the new represents in their world, really. And it kind of is an interesting dilemma or dynamic when something new pops up into someone's life, really, because I think that most people will say that they don't want it, but it also depends on what the new is. I think that if it's like a new product, a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, I'll buy something new. You know, there are people who will be literal shopaholics and buy new things and they want it brand new. But then there are other people who will say they only want new things, and that's also probably an issue. Something like buying a new car is probably worse than buying a used car because they depreciate in value, but that's a whole different conversation. The new experiences that a lot of people seek and crave are novel in the sense that they can be good in a new experience, but at the same time, sometimes they're not good. Like, for example, these split squats, I'm fucking terrible. I have absolutely zero balance and I didn't actually know what I was doing, but I went off of one tutorial I watched off of a YouTube short, and then I called it. I just said, all right, I'm just going to try it out. It wasn't nearly as good as it could be, and I kept losing balance because I didn't realize that I should probably just wear regular shoes instead of my squat shoes. Sure, I could probably use these squat shoes for this, but it wasn't working for me. But still, the learning curve of something that is new is a very tough thing, especially when it appears. You know, sometimes you go into it blind where you don't know if something's going to be tough or not. You don't realize it. Even when I got my job, I thought it was going to be a huge ordeal to get through. But as time progressed, and now that I've been there for over a year, I've been very much comfortable with my position and my role that I have there. I don't feel very affected by the severity or the magnitude of certain things. So something new can be daunting. I understand that, but I think a lot of people like to dismiss it because sometimes something new can equal to change. And I think a lot of people don't like the change, especially when it comes to certain routines in their life. And trying to pivot into something new can be a little tough for a lot of people as they try to make it so that they have a new thing in their life. I personally like certain things to be the same. I'm not necessarily one for change too much per se, but I understand when change is a good idea. I'm personally a fan of change at the beginning of the year when the new year can really start a chapter, so then that way it's like kind of even in a certain sense, where one year can be dedicated to one thing or another. Last year I had a specific goal in mind with the gym, the channel, and all this other stuff. And for now, this is where I had basically met many of those goals, and the goals have now slightly changed since then because it's a brand new year. It's time to give some things a break and try some new stuff out. But even besides the gym and my personal life, I think that understanding new things or getting something new can be a little bit of a pain, but it's mostly just the pain of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen, if it's going to be good or bad. But a lot of the time, especially when it comes to modern society, unfortunately, a lot of the new stuff is usually bad and or some type of just not as good as it once was, because as we have seen in multiple things such as equipment or technology or things like that, where they strip out things in order to give us something quote unquote new, but in reality it's just planned obsolescence, which is just horse shit. Also, while I did think these ab rollouts using the barbell were all right feeling, I don't think I will do them again. I think that is something that will be in the vault as a just in case if I want to do this again, but just didn't feel right afterwards. I don't know how else to explain it, but not bad.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, well, none, because this was a brand new workout. So there was nothing really to skip because, yeah, it's just something new. And that back to the main subject matter, something new. The main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because obviously I was doing something very different than I normally do on this day. So obviously this could be something to be talked about. But as well, I wanted to say that I wasn't very good at some of these movements. Some of them were the same, but other ones were completely new to me. And thus I was terrible at them, specifically split squats. I was fucking trash. But it is something that I would like to get better at. And the funny thing is, I think that I was trying to think about this because I was like, why are we so against some things that are new? And then I realized, oh yeah, it's because of societal differences that make it so that when things are new in society, they're usually shit. And or if it's a new product, it's usually shit. So ends up clouding the judgment of things that are new, and thus making it so they're never good as it once was. And thus that's why even in doing something new in your own life, you kind of have a hesitation because everything around you kind of sucks when it says new and improved. How can you improve if it's new? But it's a whole other story. But still, it's just kind of another idea that basically, even if something is new, there could be a chance that it's good, but only if you're introducing that new aspect of the life. I think that way you can control it and make sure that it is actually useful for you, rather than taking up a system that was good and all of a sudden making it its own thing again for the 75th time, reiteration. I don't even need to go far for something like that. YouTube has switched the way it looks like a bajillion times within the last like 10 years. So it's not even that far. It's like how you do a bunch of the shit is always changing no matter what, for some reason. I never understood it, because sometimes you could just kind of level it out and let it be the same thing over and over again. It doesn't necessarily have to be something new. But when it is something new that is in your life, then maybe you could control it, and maybe then it is actually something for the better. And I think that's the thing. I hate that we've come to the point now where if we hear that something is new, it's instantly like almost like, oh, we're gonna hate this, just because everything's been so terrible when it comes to being new. I don't think there hasn't been anything that's something that's new that is introduced that's been a good thing. Like, oh no, we're gonna actually also tax people extra for making more money. It's like, no, nobody wants this. Absolutely no one. Well, nobody on the side of trying to make money wants it. The other side, the one that's taking the money, well, of course they're gonna want some, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. But with that being said, tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This one's kind of random, but still something a little different in the wheelhouse of this. If you have any thoughts or opinions in the comment section down below, please leave them below. If you have a story of trying something new that ended up being sweet, or the other way around where society kind of said, fuck you, this is the new thing now, here you go, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy, stay safe out there, and stay warm, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!